Before we even talk about tennis, before we talk about rankings or matches or any of that, let me paint you a picture. Imagine walking into a room full of some of the most accomplished, camera-ready, fashion-conscious people in professional sports. Players who've spent careers building their image. Coaches, media, brand reps, all of them seasoned, all of them ready. And then one person walks in and somehow, without saying a single word, the entire energy of that room just shifts. That is exactly what happened when Alex Eala arrived at the opening ceremony of the WTA Stuttgart Open. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you weren't there because the people who couldn't stop talking about it. So let's get into it, because this story has layers, and every single one of them is worth your time. Stuttgart is not just any tournament stop. It's one of those events where everything matters, where the tennis is elite and the atmosphere around it matches that level. Players don't just show up to Stuttgart, they arrive. And the opening ceremony sets the tone for everything that follows. So when Alex Eala walked through that door, she wasn't just attending an event. She was making a statement before the first ball was ever struck. And here's the thing about Alex Eala that casual observers sometimes miss. She doesn't try. That's not a criticism. That's actually the highest compliment you can give someone. Because trying too hard is visible, it's uncomfortable to watch, and it never quite lands the way the person hopes. But Eala? She just exists in a space, and somehow that existence becomes the most compelling thing in the room. At Stuttgart, she stepped out in a brown blazer over a clean black top, finished with denim jeans. Read that back. A blazer, a top, and jeans. Nothing revolutionary on paper. But fashion has never really been about the clothes, has it? It's about the person carrying them. And the way Alex Eala carried that outfit, with this quiet, almost effortless confidence, made it look like every stitch was designed with her specifically in mind. The brown gave her this warmth and authority at the same time. The black underneath kept everything sharp and grounded. And the denim pulled it all back from being too polished, too try-hard, too calculated. It landed in that perfect sweet spot between intentional and natural. Her hair was open, just falling freely, not styled into something stiff or overdone. Her walk was that same purposeful, unhurried stride that anyone who's watched her on court already recognizes. And that smile. If you've ever seen Alex Eala smile in a moment like that, you know what I mean when I say it's almost disarming. It's warm and powerful simultaneously, which is a genuinely rare combination. The cameras moved toward her instinctively, not because someone told them to, but because that's just what cameras do when someone magnetic walks into their frame. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting, because Stuttgart didn't happen in isolation. There's a backstory here that most people either forgot or never knew, and it completely changes how you read this moment. Not long ago, Prada, one of the most storied and selective luxury fashion houses on the planet, extended an offer to Alex Eala. They wanted her to walk the runway at the Paris fashion show. Think about what that means for a second. Prada has access to the most celebrated models in the world. They have their pick of Hollywood, their pick of music, their pick of literally anyone they want. And they looked at a tennis player and said, You are the person we want representing this brand on our Paris runway. That's not a small thing. That's Prada telling the world something about who Alex Eala is beyond the baseline. And what did she do? She said no. Not because she didn't value it, not because she wasn't flattered, but because she had a tournament to prepare for, and she chose the court. She chose the grind over the glamour, the racket over the runway, and the process over the spotlight. That decision tells you more about her character than any highlight reel ever could. She's not someone who gets distracted by the shine. She's someone who stays locked in on what she came to do. But here's the fascinating twist. That Prada offer opened a door, and even though she didn't walk through it then, she made sure it never fully closed. Because stepping onto that Stuttgart red carpet the way she did, looking the way she did, carrying herself the way she did, that was her way of quietly telling the fashion world, I'm still here, I haven't forgotten about you, and when the time is right, we'll talk. And trust me, the fashion world heard her loud and clear. This pattern, by the way, is not new if you've been paying attention to Alex Eala's career. She has this remarkable ability to generate gravity wherever she goes. It's not manufactured. It's not a PR strategy cooked up in a meeting room somewhere. It's just her. Look at what she did for Nike. When Nike signed her, they weren't just adding another athlete to their roster. They were betting on a cultural force. And she delivered. The visibility she brought them, the passionate fan base she carried with her, the way communities in Southeast Asia and the Philippines and tennis circles worldwide responded to seeing her in that swoosh, it was everything Nike hoped for, and then some. Brands spend hundreds of millions of dollars trying to build that kind of organic, emotionally genuine connection with fans. Alex Eala generated it just by being herself. But here's the detail about that Nike deal that most people don't know, and when you hear it, you'll understand exactly the kind of person you're dealing with. Nike wanted full image rights, complete, total ownership of her likeness and her brand. A full lockdown. And she said no to that too. Not to the partnership, but to surrendering her autonomy. She understood her own value well enough to protect it. She knew that what she was building was bigger than any single contract, and she wasn't about to hand the keys to that over to anyone, not even Nike. That's not arrogance. That's self-awareness at the highest level. And that self-awareness is exactly what you saw on display in Stuttgart. Because that red carpet moment was entirely hers. Her vision, her expression, her identity, no brand guidelines dictating her choices, no corporate aesthetic filtering who she could be. Just Alex Eala, fully and unapologetically herself. And that freedom is magnetic in a way that manufactured celebrity simply cannot replicate. Now let's zoom out even further, because there's another dimension to Alex Eala that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and it's arguably the most important one. The Sampaguita Project. If you don't know about it, you need to. This is an initiative she built rooted in her Filipino identity, her personal values, and her genuine desire to create something that outlasts trophies and outlasts rankings. Something that means something. She took the most personal parts of who she is, her culture, her story, her roots, and she shaped them into something that resonated not just locally, but globally. She's spoken about the moment she first saw the full presentation for it, the night before a match at Wimbledon. She described it as beautiful, as something that felt like it was made for her, like the message behind it was exactly right. And the fact that she was holding all of that in the days leading into one of the biggest tournaments in the world tells you about the depth she carries. She's not just an athlete with a personal brand. She's someone genuinely building a legacy, one deliberate, thoughtful move at a time. And that legacy-building mindset is precisely why the Stuttgart appearance matters beyond the outfit and the red carpet photos. Every move Alex Eala makes is a piece of a larger picture that she is consciously, carefully composing. The fashion moment at Stuttgart, the Prada conversation, the Nike deal, the Sampaguita project, they're not separate stories. They're chapters in the same book. And that book is about a young woman from the Philippines who is redefining what a tennis player can be, what a Filipino athlete can represent, and what it looks like when someone with real vision operates on the global stage without losing themselves in the process. The brand's watching her from their boardrooms right now, and trust me, they are watching. They're not just seeing a pretty face at a tennis event. They're seeing someone at the intersection of sport, culture, fashion, and identity. Someone who has proven she can move product without compromising her image. Someone whose fan base is loyal in a way that advertising money simply cannot buy. They're asking their teams the same question right now. How do we get her? And Stuttgart just handed them a very compelling reminder of exactly why they should be asking that question. Lifestyle brands, fashion houses, cultural institutions, they're all taking notes. The runway that Prada offered her once will be offered again, and next time the timing might be right. And when that moment comes, don't be surprised if she walks out there and makes it look like she's been doing it her whole life, because honestly, she kind of already has been. Here's the bottom line, and I want you to sit with this for a second. Alex Eala walking into Stuttgart in a brown blazer and some denim jeans doesn't sound like a world-changing event. But context is everything. Because when you understand who she is, what she turned down, what she's building, why she plays the long game so deliberately, that moment becomes something much bigger. It becomes proof that she knows exactly who she is and exactly where she's going. And the most exciting part? She's still at the beginning. The titles she's going to win, the deals she's going to make, the stages she's going to stand on, all of it is still ahead of her. Stuttgart was just one more reminder that when Alex Eala shows up somewhere, you pay attention because something worth watching is always happening. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell, because wherever she goes next, we'll be right there. And drop a comment below. Did her Stuttgart appearance deserve every bit of attention it got? Because honestly, from where we're standing, it deserved more.